property. He's also getting back to his volleyball league on Mondays. And the other information is that they are selling their Arizona place, so now they will winter here, and they'll be here to hand out trick-or-treat candy come Halloween. Help the little ghosts and goblins. Title of his speech, in case you missed this speech, given July 30th, 2014, This Is Who I Am, Jam Bam!
And as I look around the room, there's a lot of people who are not here on July 31st in 2014. So everybody should know that yes, it is indeed true. I was born on Manhattan Island. And with equanimity, I can turn on the New York accent anytime I wanna. But here is my allegedly sublime story, given in English in 7 to 9 minutes, Mr. Tyler. I was born in 1935. My father and mother were rock-ribbed Republicans, and Earl, you will be pleased to know that they voted for FDR in 1936 because something had to be done at that time during the Depression. And my father was a banker at that. We were the typical upper middle class family in Manhattan. And in 1938, we moved into our home. I'm going to pass this around and I'd like to get it back. But our home was 50 East 96th Street, apartment 3D. We moved in 1938, we gave up the lease in 1981. So we paid the rent for 43 years. But as I look around this room, Julia, can you believe that our family never owned our own home? And for that matter, our family never owned a car until I bought a $100 junker at age 21. And we were totally typical of a family in Manhattan Island. My sister joined the family in 1938, and she was a spoiled brat from the moment she was born until age 22, at which point, amazingly, she turned into a lovely, educated, sharp woman. Shocking. My little brother Bruce joined it in 1946, when my father was 46, and mother 49, a bit of a surprise package. But I just loved my little brother then, and to this day. I went to school at PS6. PS stands for Public School Number 6. You can imagine a typical New York public school. And I went kinder through the 4th grade. I got into a little fisticuffs with Manny Wolf in the boys' bathroom in the 4th grade. The word went out. Mrs. Friedman came charging in to break it up, and I was quite happy she arrived. The school wanted to transfer me from PS6 to a closer school. Ooh, is right. And for 75 years, I thought Manny Wolf triggered this. It turned out that PS6 is a very Tony school. And instead of me being transferred for misbehavior, the administration wanted to get rid of me to make room for a Park Avenue matron's kid. And I didn't learn that until I was told just a couple of years ago. Anyhow, after the 4th grade, my parents decided we had better do something with this young man, and so I went to Trinity School, which is a version of Blake School. Got a part scholarship there. Got involved in all of the sports, the glee club, the student council, the whole 9 yards. And outside of school, my mother decided this guy is going to go to dancing school. So every Monday at 5 o'clock, I get on my blue suit and get on the Madison Avenue bus and go down to the Plaza Hotel with white gloves and dance with the girls. And I found out that the girls' parents paid for everything. The boys' parents got a free ride. 2 years of Williams College, at which point I was 20 years old, and we all, simply stated, owed 2 years of service to our country. Military service was typical. It was just expected of us. So I did my 2 years. And at that time, I considered it a very cheap price to pay for the enormous benefit of being born an American. And it never bothered me or any of my buddies that 50% of the population got a free ride. There was no babbling about equality by the girls at that time for not being able to join the Army if they didn't want to. Anyhow, did my Army time, still owed 2 years to college, did that in Mexico City. After Mexico City, had a god-awful job in New York, downtown, lasted 6 months, rambled around the country, sold a freezer food plant in Boise, Idaho in the middle of winter. That was not successful. You should know that I held a license as a crap dealer in Reno, Nevada. I still have that license in case I ever have to get a real job. Arnie Carlson led me to Minnesota. He was a college friend. And he said, Bingham, I'm going to Minnesota because I like politics and my name isn't going to hurt me. Why don't you come along? And I said, okay. I was crap dealing at the time. And that led me to my last real job with Honeywell, my last W-2. Lasted 6 months and entered real estate. Let's face it, I became perennially self-unemployed for the last half a century plus. Got involved in houses, got involved with apartments, commercial, eventually left agency work, entered what I really, really like to do. And that's to find a good real estate investment and then find partners to join in that good real estate investment. Do the due diligence, round up the financing, round up the partners, and after closing, my daughter and I run the investment for the investors, providing passivity as well as monthly cash flow. Well, along the way, I'm bouncing back in the time frame, I married Marilyn, and we had 3 offspring, Jeff, Ann, and Jim. And when they were little toddlers, they were crawling around under the seats during the annual Toastmasters Kids Day. As they grew up, they sat like normal people in the chairs. They're all college grads, they're all out of jail. I managed to have a grandson, Oliver James Bingham. And I'm sorry to say, while he was a full-term healthy baby, he was born without a heartbeat. And we lost him. But I do have an adopted granddaughter, Lucy, 7 years old, and she is a delight. After decades of sliding around and doing work deals and raising kids, changing lives, absorbing new family members, helping out with TM and coaching Little League, various places in church choir. I love to sing as a tenor in the choir, volunteer work. That's been my life for a long time. My interests, I really like my sports. I can't help it. But the camaraderie of teammates and the competition of going against people who probably will be your teammates next week turns me on. So over my life, I've enjoyed 8 years of football, 8 years of basketball, 4 years of fast pitch, softball, 1 year of hockey, 1 year wrestling, and 45 years and counting of volleyball. So I'm a fan of sports. I like the Gophers and all the local pro sports. I find real estate fascinating. The downtown Minneapolis population growing from 35,000 to roughly 70,000 at the moment the rise and the fall of condos and probably the re-rise once again. Also fascinating is international politics. I hesitate to use the word liberal when I speak about myself. Stop smiling, girl. But in a moment of true confession, I guess I am a liberal Republican. I can't stand the extremities of either party. They are going to lead the country to rack and ruin, those extremists. My ambitions at the moment are to stay healthy, to stay active in volleyball and Toastmasters, and maybe even finish the manual, you never know. Always stay in real estate and always be good for just one more deal. And please, Lord, make it a good one. My ambition is to recognize and catch the next wave of inflation, to watch the Vikes in a Super Bowl game, and when it's my time to go quickly, quietly, with dignity and in peace. And so, fellow Toastmasters, so that's my story. I ain't a nasty New Yorker anymore. I have long since converted to Minnesota nice. And that's who I am. Mr. Toastmaster.